Welcome to Jeremiah's Porch Talks. This is where we take a few minutes, talk about leadership and life, right from my front porch here in Sykesville, Maryland. Rain or shine, this is a time for us to reflect, reset, and get ready for whatever comes next in our respective journeys. I'm Jeremiah. Thanks for joining me. There's a certain kind of leadership lesson you don't learn in a classroom. You learn it in the middle of the storm. And if you're lucky, you'll learn how not to become what you've been through. Years ago, I had one of these types of lessons when I was a director. I had a boss who was, to put it gently, very divisive in nature. He didn't bring people together. He weaponized pressure. Work fell like a waterfall, nonstop, disorganized, and often unrealistic. And if you didn't get something done on time or accurately, he treated you as though you were less than. I remember sitting at my desk late at night, typing emails to my team with 50 or more action items. And that was not leadership. That was reaction. But worse than the workload was the way that he treated people, myself included. Public humiliation was normal. He pitted me and my peers against each other. He gave us the same tasks to complete and had us compete to get them done. It was a horrible environment to work in. And over time, something subtle but dangerous started to happen. I began to mirror that dysfunction. The emails that I sent, they had his tone. The pressure I passed on, it wasn't filtered, it was transferred. One of my own team members once told me that they could tell what kind of day that they were going to have based on the email that they got from me. That hit hard. And here's what I learned. In toxic environments, the instinct is to isolate, to protect yourself, and to survive. But leadership, real leadership, calls us to do the opposite. You don't fix dysfunction by mimicking it. You fix it by transcending it. It's the same concept as the quote by Martin Luther King Jr. when he says, you don't fix hate with hate, you fix hate with love. So what did I do about it? The first action was becoming self-aware of what was occurring. I owned my part in the toxic environment, and I began to choose to change. I built bridges with peers I once saw as a competitor. I showed vulnerability when I didn't have all the answers, and I made room for empathy even when I didn't receive it. The outcomes of this change were awe-inspiring to me. My organization eventually saw what my boss was doing, and they removed him from our area. And the little steps that I had worked on started actually building trust. And that trust transcended into a better workplace that exponentially got better as soon as the boss actually left. People notice when you are trying to create a good environment, even if the overall situation is toxic. They see your authenticity and they see your compassion. So let's fast forward to today. Maybe you're in a space right now where the temperature is high and the trust is low, where the pressure is constant and the grace is rare. And if that's you, I want to offer this. You still get to decide the kind of leader you want to be, no matter what's happening around you. Let's talk about energy. Jack Welch, arguably one of the best CEOs of the 20th century, wrote a few books after he retired from General Electric, and one was about the 4 E's to leadership. That first E was energy. In toxic environments, energy becomes your most precious resource. And how you manage it for yourself will determine if you lead with purpose or if you simply survive the day. There are 3 ways that I've learned to protect and replenish my energy when the system isn't giving back anything. The first is to anchor yourself daily, whether that's a walk, a prayer, a swim, a cup of coffee in silence. Find a ritual that's just yours. It sets the tone for the day, and that really helps you kind of get through the process. For me, recently, this is one of the reasons why I've engaged in these porch talks, to help me anchor myself each day. Number 2, refuse to carry what isn't yours. This is really important. You need to let go of the guilt, the pressure, and the over-functioning. You can lead well without owning everyone else's dysfunction. For some of us, this is really hard to do, but you still need to do it, and you need to do it unapologetically. Number 3, surround yourself with grounding voices and good people. Even 1 or 2 peers or colleagues who remind you of who you are can shift your whole mindset. And I want you to listen to this because it's really important. Isolation is toxic's favorite tool. Let me say that again. Isolation is toxic's favorite tool. And the antidote is to surround yourself with good people and choose to build them and be gracious despite the toxicity. You see, you can't always escape the environment, but you can guard your energy like your leadership depends on it, because it does. So here's our challenge. If you're in a storm and you can't leave it, take 1 small step to protect your energy. Maybe that means blocking off time to think. Maybe it means writing or rewriting an email with a softer tone. Maybe it's checking in on a peer or reaching out to one. And then ask yourself this: what kind of leader am I choosing to be in this moment, even when the environment makes it hard to be that way? Because we don't always get to choose the storm that we're in, but we always choose who we can become in the middle of it. That's it for today. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on Jeremiah's Porch Talks. Rain or shine, I'll see you next time. And always remember to keep the most important things the most important things.